Howdy guys, Simon here from African Drumming. Time to talk hardwood timbers. Now you've got yourself a beautiful djembe, and over the course of the lifetime of that djembe you might put several different skins on it. It's a long journey, but you will always have that one shell with you. So let's talk about the different types of shells in the hardwood range, how they're similar, how they're different, and what the different constitutions of these shells are, and typically how they sound different as well. You tend to find that in the West African region that the densest of timbers tend to come from the drier parts, the Sahel region. And as you get sort of further south into West Africa, into the more tropical parts, the timbers can become a little bit softer, not quite as dense. How does that affect the sound? Well, let's start at the top with probably my favorite of all the hardwoods, Hari or Kadi. Beautiful tiger grain timber. It's got incredible mottling through the grain. Comes in 2 or 3 different varieties of shade as well, different hues in colour. You can get this kind of cherry sort of colour, which is beautiful. It can get much lighter in colour as well. Really bright projection, loud sounds from Kadi. Great solo drum. Ironwood or Guinea. Yep, this is also a very dense timber, quite heavy, and also has very bright projections. Tends to be quite dark, not as much grain as the Kadi, but is a very hard timber and increasingly difficult to find. Timber of the blacksmith or the forgeron, Numu as it's also known. Moving into Lenke, probably the most popular of all the hardwoods, preferred by many djembe fola. A lot of people say it's got a really nice balance of sounds. You tend to get a little bit of warmth out of the sounds, the tonal structure of this drum, but it also has good bright projection. So a great all-round timber. Typically comes in this beautiful orangey colour. Not quite as heavy or as dense as the Kadi or the ironwood, but really beautiful timber. They say that the first djembe was carved from Lenke, the spirit wood of West Africa, many people refer to it. Okay, moving down to Dugara or Duki. Now this has also got lovely grain structure as well. If you sand it back, you'll find you get this really lovely mottling or rippling through the grain. It's a beautiful caramelly kind of colour as well. It's also a dense timber. A good all-round timber, in my opinion. Sounds really nice tones in the Dugara. Probably not as bright as your Kadis in terms of the slaps and the high frequencies. It's quite a heavy timber as well. Not as ubiquitous as commonly found as the Lenke timber. So if you've got one of these, hold on to it. Yeah, it's good timber. Jala. This is one of my faves. I love the Jala. I've got a nice Jala djembe, and it is kind of a cherry colour, a brownie into cherry colour. It's amazing when you sand it back. It can actually reveal quite a lot of rippling, and this particular one's got some really interesting markings through it as well. It can be quite heavy, but it's not quite as dense as the top end Kadis and ironwoods as well. But a good all-round timber. Yep. Moving into probably the sort of softer, what are known as the softer of the hardwoods. We've got the Irokos, typically found in Ivory Coast. Iroko it's a sort of a medium density hardwood, if you like. Great for roving performances, because when you strap it on, instead of sort of having a 12 kilo drum around your neck, you could probably have an 8 kilo drum around your neck, which can make a big difference. So a lot of djembe fola actually really love the Iroko because it provides that versatility and portability. Good timber, yeah. Moving back to Melina, the golden hardwood of West Africa. Very popular in Guinea. Can have quite beautiful markings as well, and grain structure. Not as heavy, not nearly as heavy as the other hardwoods. Makes it also very attractive for first-time djembe players. It's a great entry-level hardwood. And also, obviously, roving and portability. Very lightweight. This shell's under probably about 5 kilos. This timber too is an awesome timber. This is it's like a red mahogany or a red Melina, if you like. Also found in that Ivory Coast, Guinea sort of frontier. Very lightweight, 4 to 5 kilos, but nice mottling through the grain as well. We've just recently come into a few of these shells. So this is a pretty expansive range. There are other hardwoods not on this list, like cassia, karate, which you're really not allowed to chop down these days, Berta karate, or the shade tree. You've also got the kola trees to be found a little bit through the Abidjan region as well. And there are other rarer types as well. So not the definitive list, but certainly the most common of the hardwoods here. Please be respectful of timber and where your timber is coming from. We make a point of replanting trees right through the West African region. We've got 2 projects going on there, and I hope that you guys invest a little bit of consciousness into that as well, because it's really important that when we take something out, we put it back into Mother Earth. There you have it, guys. West African hardwoods, the collection. Catch you soon.